Hey guys, I'm Nicole. This is my client Ann. Today we're going to be doing a multi-dimensional highlight and low light. We're going to be adding some dimension in with some low lights of a 6G to achieve a 7G tone actually in her hair. Since her natural hair is about a level 9, it really doesn't hold pigment very well. So I'm going to go through with thin slices with the 6G to achieve a low light of a 7G, as well as highlight with a weave pattern of the Vero Light lifter with the 20 volume peroxide as well. So with Ann, what we're going to do today is we're going to take a diamond shape for her crown, and we're going to do that section last. Her hair pulls up really fast, so she will not be needing any heat today, just the about 15-20 minutes to let the lightener actually achieve the white blonde that we like. So what I've done here in the back is I have actually taken a diagonal part from her ear down to the base, and we're going to actually weave in her low light, and then from there on out we'll do a dark to light pattern. We'll actually slice the dark end to get as much of it as possible through the bottom, but weave the highlight through, and we'll keep a diagonal part until we get to the crown. What I really like about the Vero Light lightener is that it will lift up to 7 shades without having a lot of that orange or brassy tones that we might get, but it's also gentle enough with the components of the K-Pack in it that it's also gentle enough for somebody like Ann who already has pretty blonde hair and just needs something slight to pop it up and get that platinum blonde. So we've finished putting in the highlights and lowlights, and like I said before, it's a 1-to-1 ratio of the 6G with 20 volume and the Vero Light with 20 volume, and we've weaved in around the face so that it's a little bit lighter, more natural looking, and we've also gone across with the crown so that no matter where she parts her hair, if she decides to change it day to day, that she'll have the same amount of highlights no matter where she parts her hair on her crown. And then we're going to let her process between 15 and 20 minutes. Then we'll shampoo her out and get her cut and styled. Okay, so we've processed Ann's highlights and lowlights, and now we're going to do her haircut. We're going to cut a very layered but blended cut so that she has some body at the crown. We're going to leave the crown a little bit shorter and blend in her layers all the way to the bottom with very straight, fine hair. The trick is very blended layers so that you don't see the shear marks, and also that whenever she doesn't completely style out her hair, that it's not choppy. So we're just going to start off with a normal base cut, health trim, 1/4 of an inch, and then go into cleaning up her layers. So I've gotten Ann's base, her perimeter cut, so now what we're going to go do is now blend in her layers. We always take your starting point from across on the crown with really fine and straight hair to make sure it stays blended. I like to point cut the crown. So I always do a really good clean cut across. Check and make sure that it's going to fall where you want it when it's dry. And then I'm going to go through and soften up these edges by point cutting. We don't point cut this area to make it thinner, but we just do it to soften up that line. And then we're going to take it all the way down and blending all the layers from the crown down to the ends to make her a really good body style, so when she blow dries she has some volume and movement in her hair. Anytime I'm doing longer layers and I come over the section that's over the ear, there's obviously less hair from where the curve of the hairline. So I over direct the layers to make sure that you don't get a gap in the perimeter of the hair. And follow it all the way down to make sure it blends. And for Anne's front fringe, we're not going to use any slide cutting because with the really fine hair, it can make it look more frayed and frizzy. So we're just going to tip the end so that she has some movement around her face as well. We use the cheeks as a good perimeter to start her shorter layers and then blend all the way down. And again, being careful that it's not going to be choppy whenever she blow dries it. And always pulling the sides forward instead of back. If you over direct this hair back to the back, you're going to end up with a mullet style where it's cut shorter in the front and longer in the back. So you always want to keep the section of the hair that's in front of the ear in front of the ear, so where it's going to lay naturally when it's blow dried. I always like to check the hair once I'm finished cutting to make sure that it falls in the right places by shaking it a little bit, just kind of seeing how the natural hair falls. I do believe that you shouldn't have to fight your hair. If it's cut properly, it should automatically just kind of go where it needs to go. You shouldn't have to force the hair into a certain form as you're blow drying it. It should naturally fall. And then we're going to get her styled out. What we're going to be using for Anne today is, of course, the Body Luxe line to give her volume. We're going to use the thickening elixir so that she doesn't have too much hold, and then she can go without having to wash her hair every day because of a lot of product, as well as the root lift to give her some volume at the crown. We're applying the root boost just to the root of the crown so that as I'm round brushing her that we've got some really good root lift in here. Okay, we're going to get Anne blown out and we will see you in a minute. Now you can see that we've got Anne's highlights and lowlights processed. She's got a really pretty golden blonde in here just to kind of give her some dimension in her natural blonde hair. And I'm just going to finish her off with the Color Therapy Restorative Oils. And there you go, ma'am. And as you can see, her layers in the back are blended nicely so that whenever she doesn't have a whole lot of time, but except to blow dry her hair, they're still blended. And then if she wants to put some curls in there too, she can have some really good body and good movement. There you go. Thank you for being my model.
Thank you.